I have sent over 50,000 outbound DMs, and in this video, I'm going to be ranking every single niche on which of these four are the best method to reach out to these business owners through DMs, okay? So buckle up. This is going to be a bit of a long one. We've got a few niches to roll through, so let's get straight to it. So, solar. In order, the best DM outreach methods for solar companies is LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And the reason why this is the main thing is basically you want to think of where is this niche, okay? So for solar, right, a lot of these people, especially commercial solar companies, they generate a lot of leads through LinkedIn, right? So if you're looking for commercial solar companies specifically, a lot of them are going to be on LinkedIn because that's what they use to get in touch with other companies, right? So that's how you want to think about this, is you want to think, where does my niche actually congregate online? Where are they actually doing interactions with other people on a daily basis? And that's where you're going to find a lot of them, right? A lot of some solar companies, and this applies to more residential solar companies, is a lot of them are actually on Facebook, right? Because they have their brick and mortar location that they basically have on the Facebook Places section. And if you go into there, you'll actually be able to find who the owner is and then reach out to that person on their personal Facebook account, okay? So those are the main two ways. Instagram also can work, right? There's a lot of different influencers on Instagram who target solar companies specifically, and obviously if they get a lot of engagement with their content, that means that solar company owners are on Instagram as well. So that works really, really well, okay? Twitter, not so much. I just put this on here because I'm basically ranking all four in order, but Twitter I would not do for solar companies specifically, okay? Again, this is completely my opinion after sending nearly 100,000 DMs, so you can feel free to debate me on this if you have had really good success getting solar companies through Twitter, okay? Chiropractors. So best way to reach out to them is that I found is through Instagram, then Facebook, then LinkedIn, and then Twitter again, okay? So for Instagram, right, reason why is a lot of chiropractors now are posting short form content, and the best place to do that is typically Instagram and TikTok. I haven't tried TikTok DMs, but I've heard that there's really strict limits and it's very difficult to do, so I didn't add it to this list because it would probably just be ranked at the bottom on every single one. But targeting chiropractors on Instagram is really, really easy because a lot of them are on there. Same thing with Facebook. A lot of them have that brick and mortar location, which they do advertise on Facebook Places. So again, really good way to go and find those people. LinkedIn, you can't really go too wrong with LinkedIn for the most part. You'll be able to find some success with it, but typically I would stay away from this when you just have the option of doing Instagram or Facebook. And Twitter, again, for Chiro and pretty much most local businesses, is going to be pretty useless, unless there's a couple exceptions, which I'll explain in a second. So, med spas, kind of same thing, right? Except Facebook is a little bit more prevalent. Just because they, again, that brick and mortar location is there, and a lot of people will advertise that they have that location on their Facebook, which you can use to reach out to them on, right? Instagram comes up next, right? Again, pretty straightforward, and then LinkedIn. Again, most of these like brick and mortar locations as well, a lot of them aren't on LinkedIn, right? Unless they're working with other businesses. The reason for that is, again, LinkedIn is basically used typically to do outreach to other business owners, right? So if someone's on there, they probably have some kind of an incentive as to why they need to be there, right? Which is why it's super easy to find like coaches or agency owners or e-com businesses, right? Because they need to work with retail brands to actually get their products out. And that's why you can find a lot of those guys on LinkedIn super easily, because they can target other business owners on there, right? So that's basically why that's like that, right? And then again, Twitter, not going to be useful. Now for gyms, it's a little bit more useful. I still wouldn't recommend using it. It's only more useful because it's very, very hard to find gyms on LinkedIn successfully. Gyms are all over Instagram, super easy to reach out to on there. What you can actually do is if you go to Instagram, if we just go to here, and if we go over and actually search for like local gyms, right? If we go to search up, let's just say gyms in London, right? If we just search this up, we'll find a whole bunch of gyms. We should find gyms, maybe not. If we just search up gyms, gym. So here, we can see these different, this is like a chain of gyms. What we can do here is we could obviously reach out to this person. Then we could click this plus button here, and now we have a whole bunch of other gyms. So what we can do is we can go to all these gyms basically, open these up, reach out to these people, open this up, right, and you basically have an infinite loop of leads, and this is basically a really good way to basically get leads on Instagram to be able to reach out to. Also, these guys even share their phone number, which is nice, so you can cold call them as well, right? So that's basically what I'd recommend for gyms, okay? Home improvement, very similar, okay? So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then Twitter. I would recommend, if you're doing home improvement, either just using Facebook, or realistically, like cold calling is probably going to work really, really good. This goes for things like plumbers, landscapers, construction companies, roofers, things like that. Really good way, other than Facebook, is probably just reach out through cold calling, although Facebook and sometimes Instagram can work really, really well. But I would stay away from Twitter and LinkedIn. Okay, restaurants, basically the same thing. Again, they're only going to be on here if they're actually advertising the restaurant, which is going to be a lot of them, right? So good way to reach out to those guys. Car dealerships. Okay, similar idea to car detailers as well, right? Twitter's not going to be super useful. You're not really going to find too much traction on LinkedIn. It is possible to get some car dealerships on LinkedIn. I have tried this before. It does work. But it's going to be a lot better if you're going to try and target on Facebook and Instagram, because again, a lot of these people will have accounts just because they're trying to get some inbound traffic from these two sites. Okay, so highly recommend. Plumbers, very similar thing to home improvement, where you're just going to want to target Facebook first. Ideally, again, cold calling, but for DMs, Facebook first, then Instagram, then LinkedIn, then X. Okay, real estate gets a little bit different, and the reason why real estate is different, right, is because there's realtors on every single platform, and if you do any of these four, they will work. So it comes down to basically what platform is the best, because you're going to be able to find a ton of them on every single platform. So what I found to basically get the highest amount of reply rates with the largest potential of automation and volume is Instagram and then Twitter as well. So you can find a ton of realtors on Twitter. I have a whole video that basically goes through how to actually reach out to people on Twitter. And what you can basically do, right, is you can take the people who follow certain companies like in the real estate space, so like Zillow, Remax, things like that, and you can look at their followers and see and basically take out people with the name realtor in their bio and then only reach out to those people, and you can do it with automation and everything like that. So if you want to go check out that video, it'll be somewhere on my channel. It should be pretty easy to find. Okay, so real estate, really, you can make anything work, but it's just a matter of what are you going to get the highest volume and positive replies on, which is typically going to be Instagram and Twitter. Okay, dog trainers. Again, this is very similar to what we've gone over here, where Facebook is going to be the easiest way to do it. Then Instagram is also going to work well, and then these two will basically suck. Okay, HVAC, literally the exact same thing, right? E-commerce, basically backwards, right? So LinkedIn actually works extremely, extremely well for e-commerce brands, because you can target people with specific kind of stores and people who use like specific you can look at the technology they use basically. So look for people who are using Shopify, people who are using WooCommerce, and things like different softwares like that. And what you can do is you can segment those people and then target based on like which kind of e-commerce business they have. So you can target for e-commerce businesses who sell shoes, who have a Shopify store, and you can do all that through Sales Navigator. So really, really good to target e-com businesses on LinkedIn. Also, a lot of them are on Twitter, so really good way to do that as well. Instagram, it is more difficult to get to the owner, so I wouldn't recommend doing Instagram. Facebook is like, you can't really do it, okay? Unless you go look through Facebook ad library, and then you can basically find them from there, but that's pretty difficult to do at scale, right? Coaches and consultants and agency owners, pretty much the same thing. Except it's going to be a lot easier to find agency owners on Facebook and not so much for coaches, right? Depends on the kind of coaching. I'm sure there's a ton of fitness group coaches on Facebook, but realistically, all these platforms will work well for all these niches, right? So realistically, it just comes down to like what can you put the most volume through and where you're going to get the most positive replies. And for both of these, it's typically going to be Instagram. Twitter also works really well for both. Okay, and in terms of SaaS, it's going to be similar to e-commerce, right? Where LinkedIn and Twitter are going to work super, super, super well. LinkedIn might be difficult to find the owner on the page. If you can, it'll work great. And then Facebook is a bit more difficult, right? Pest control, okay? Similar to the local business style, right? Facebook's going to be number one all the way through. Instagram works decently well if you can find the right person to actually scrape their followers. LinkedIn's going to suck. Twitter's going to suck, right? And interior design LinkedIn actually works pretty good. But Instagram is going to be number one for that because a lot of these interior designers are going to be posting their designs on Instagram specifically, so easy to reach out to them on there using the same gym strategy that I showed you earlier. LinkedIn works really well, really easy to find them there. Facebook is also going to work really well for this niche. Twitter, probably not so much. All right, so that's the whole video. Hope that helps. If you need more appointments and you actually want a system built out for whatever niche you're in, click the first link. If not, I'll see you in the next one.